Morning and welcome to my office. I want to take a few minutes every morning this week to talk about Thanksgiving and just kind of give a word of encouragement. We're entering the holiday season with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and just a lot of festivities and things going around there. And so I just wanted to encourage you as we enter into this week on the area of Thanksgiving. Today, I want to start out just talking to you about the law of gratitude. And you might, law of gratitude, what does that mean? Well, here's the law that abundance flourishes in a grateful heart. That where a grateful heart is, that's where abundance flourishes. So, in other words, I heard one person say it this way: one who is thankful for every good thing will find riches of heaven. In other words, thanksgiving attracts the blessings of heaven. Now, this is taught in the Word of God consistently, and we're not going to go through everything, but we want to point out certain things to you. Over in First Thessalonians, it tells us that 1 Thessalonians 5:18, I believe it is, it tells us that we are to give thanks in everything. And we'll talk about this a little later in the week, but it doesn't say for everything or because of everything, but while you're in the midst of everything, whether it's good or whether it's bad, give thanks. And then it goes on and says, this is the will of God. This is what God desires for us. So the wording there just simply says God's desire is that you give thanks inside of everything. Well, what else does it say in the Word of God about his desire? Over in Psalm chapter 35, verse 27, it says that God delights or desires or enjoys the prosperity of his servants. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like that word prosperity because it means more than money. Don't you know that? Absolutely, it means more than money, but it also means money. It is actually the Greek word or the Hebrew word shalom, which literally means the fullness of life, the nothing missing, nothing broken. It means peace. It's translated peace so often, but it's also translated prosperity because it literally means completeness, that you're full of everything, your prosperous life. And so he says that it's his desire that you prosper. And then over in 3 John chapter 2, or chapter 1, verse 2, it says that it's his greatest desire that we prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospers. So it's his greatest desire that we prosper and be in health. So if that's his will, if that's his greatest desire that we prosper, that we're blessed, that the blessings of God are on us, it says that he's already given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. So he's already blessed us with that thing, and he wants us to enjoy it. So what's the key? Thanksgiving. Giving thanks in everything, because that's what will bring the other things that he desires into our life. I heard a story recently about a little boy who was in a classroom. And the teacher looked at him and asked him, said, let's say I give you one tomato, all right? How many more do you need to go buy in order for you to have 10? All right? You have one tomato, you need 10. How many more do you have to go buy? The little boy thought for a moment and said, none. Because all I need to do is cut the tomato open, plant the seeds, and it'll grow a whole lot more tomatoes. Now, obviously, that wasn't the answer the teacher was looking for, but I guess as she took it, she accepted it because it was truth. It was the truth. It was just a different viewpoint. Now, see, oftentimes we're so focused on the 9 tomatoes we don't have. We're so focused on what's not in our hands that it makes life frustrating, and it leads us to complaining, anxiety, stress, frustration. But it's because we're focused on what we don't have. And what little Johnny, or whatever his name we want to call it, understood that a lot of people don't, is that what's in your hand is what God has blessed you with in order to use it for something greater. If we will be if we will be grateful for what we have, even if it's just a seed, then we'll be too busy with what we have that we're not going to have time complaining about what we're missing. Think about it. Think in the Word. All Noah had at the start, he did not have all the wood. He did not have, I don't know that he had the understanding of how to build an ark outside of what God told him. All he had was a hammer. But he built an ark. Moses, all he had was a rod, and he was confronted with the Red Sea. How is a rod? Am I going to paddle us over? Am I going to swish the water around? What can I do to get across this Red Sea and get these millions of Israelites across the Red Sea? He held it out, and the Red Sea parted. Not only did the Red Sea part with what was in his hand, but he crushed his enemies. It crushed his enemies. All he had was a rod in his hand. All David had was a slingshot, but he took down a giant and saved a nation. Whatever you have in your hand, you may seem small, but be grateful for what you have in your hand, because it's the very thing that God has placed in you for increase, for blessing. Psalm chapter 37, verse 16 says this: a little that the righteous man has is better. That word better means extraordinarily better. Better, bigger, better, gooder in the widest sense of the world. But it's better than what the riches of the wicked. If you have something in your hand, God has blessed you with that to put it to work. So don't focus on what you don't have. Don't focus on what you're in need of today. Take a gander at what God's already placed in your hands, what he's placed in your heart. Maybe the vision, maybe it's just a small amount of money. Be thankful for it. Give it to him and watch him multiply it bigger than you ever hoped or dreamed. I love you. You have a great day. God bless.